whom the commission is meant to mediate or be a broker, not have control over that body. The moment the president of Nigeria, let's just say it is somebody's neck, and the head of the president is rotating on that neck.
Gotten that one election that we can now even let 93 put to rest and say, after 93, we learned some lessons, we imputed them into our system, and at least we can say after 93, we had one election that was free and fair. Why are we not there yet?
We're not there because the people, and as I started this conversation with, we took over from the military, learned that the military made a mistake by allowing a free and fair election to happen. Nigerian politics, by the way, the 1993 June 12th election was purely by accident. They didn't plan it that way. In fact, they were hoping that it would not be free and fair. Violence across the country. They had instigated it by giving an order the night before. There's one justice, she's late now, Patsy Pennant, who gave an order that the election should not go ahead. So they created all kinds of bottlenecks and uncertainties around it. And woke up the next day, by providence, Nigeria had an election that nobody expected. In fact, the only place in Nigeria where the election in Ogun was Ogoniland, because it was in the middle of the struggle for environmental respect of the Ogoniland at that time. So, Kesa Rewa did not allow the election, and his people said, we're leaving, we don't want the election. Everywhere else was peaceful. The military did not design it to be peaceful. They did design it to be fair. They didn't design it to be credible. But Nigerians just stood back and said, look, we're tired of military rule. We are complaining to them. We, who were fighting for democracy, most of us did not vote. I did not vote. Because the National Association of Nigerian Students at that time took a position that we would not participate in the transition program of Babangida, because Babangida had deceived us from 1990, 1991. It changed the calendar again. He kept changing the rules as things progressed. So we decided to be the vanguard, who is still on the side and just be the watchdog to ensure that this man is. Our goal was to chase him out of power. So it was when the election came that we had a breather just for a few hours, and then they came. I think because of the it became a watershed, because everybody who went to vote felt victimized. The person they voted for felt victimized. The people they didn't vote for also felt victimized. So everybody, for one moment, this country was united. The only time you get that is during football games that don't concern us. And it was almost like a spiritual moment where everybody just came together and said, enough is enough. And that's why June 12 became part of not only the electoral calendar, but it became part of public conscience. This is one moment that the people themselves did want to right against all expectations, especially by those in power at that time. That's why it became, because they had the electoral system that was not only cheap, but you just woke up and you queue up behind your candidate, and it's counted right there. That's why I said these people have learned. If it was these current people that did option for, that's what they do in primaries. That's they count up to 10, and from 10 they jump to 100. Then before you know it, 10 people have become 500. They learned from that moment not to repeat that mistake. So you can't use option A for in Nigeria today and make it work. No, it won't work, because they have learned how to even rig in front of you. And actually, if they rig in front of you and you capture it, they ask you to go to court, of course. Their senior brothers and sisters are the judges who will handle your case.
You had some struggles, and when we look at history now, there have been some struggles before we got it, and 93 happened. You said it wasn't even planned to be like that. It happened, so there were lots of bottlenecks. Yeah. But currently in Nigeria, we've had so many bottlenecks as well. Yeah. Why haven't the people of Nigeria, you said at the point, we just came together, whether your language, your ethnicity, whatever, we came together. Why haven't the people of Nigeria in current day also gotten through that bottlenecks and struggle to get what we want.
Very good point. Also, the events after June 12 afforded the ruling class, the ruling elite, to divide Nigerians. They capitalized on the June 12 crisis to say, oh, we didn't even realize that Biola is not Hausa, Oh, so everybody who had special interests, who was greedy, was picked out of the society to come and sabotage that process. And it became the new elite, became the richest. And when you can go and look at history, some of the guys who are actually used in killing people, in harassing opponents, became the next successful elites within the society. I'll give you an example. The judges that killed Kensarawiwa, the lead judge in that military tribunal, became the judge of the Federal High Court. They made both economic and social progress and political progress. The guy who was the prosecutor became the chairman of the National Bar Association at the point. So the guys who fought became irrelevant. The guys against whom they fought got special promotion. People like Ibori who were part of the underground, they became governors. All these fire shit that we're seeing, they started grooming them around, There was a time in the 90s that they called them, there's a name they call them, like they're the new leaders, They started all these Benga Daniels and all that. Those were the times that they were recruited from wherever they're underground, and what do they call them? There's a title they gave them, and which I can remember maybe before the end of the show. They were the ones that then proceeded to take over power, and the people who fought became irrelevant. Abiola's family completely wrecked. His business wrecked. You remember that he used to have, radio station. He used to have one of the biggest newspaper companies in Concord newspaper. In those days, if you didn't read Saturday Concord, you haven't started your week. Your week in those days, our week starts from Saturday. There was some of the best stories. Like Awoyi Faden, Babafemi Ojuju, even his bio. Yes. All of them were recruited by Abiola as reporters, and when they left Abiola based on political disagreement, then created some of the most vibrant news magazines and newspapers. So ask what happened to all those people, and then look at the trajectory of the people who were saboteurs, and they made the most social and economic progress in society. Whenever that happens, the society is not making progress. They now hold the levels of power.